Chinese government says a new respiratory virus has now killed 26 people and infected more than 800 others. The World Health Organization says that although the outbreak is an emergency for China, it is not yet one for the rest of the world. The WHO pointed to the measures being taken by Beijing and the limited number of cases outside China. Kerry Allen is a China specialist with BBC Monitoring, which reports and analyses news from media around the world. Kerry, could you first of all maybe give us a sense of some of the measures being taken in Wuhan and other cities and the sort of sense of disruption this is causing for people?
Starting in Wuhan, where this virus obviously started, a number of measures have come into place. Toll booths where people would enter with their cars are telling people to turn around so people can't enter the city. Official media have they've been putting out lists of roads that you can't enter, and that's just the roads coming into Wuhan. We've also seen in the last few hours that taxis within the city are now suspended, so people in Wuhan can't actually travel around. And say if they wanted to go places like supermarkets, that's really difficult to do now because with the city being in lockdown, we saw footage of supermarkets being emptied, people panic buying items. Cinemas have said that they don't want people to be gathering in confined spaces, so a lot of films have suspended their coverage. But that's just in Wuhan. Now, outside of China as a whole, outside of the city as a whole, a number of big events that were arranged for Spring Festival and the Chinese New Year have been suspended or cancelled altogether. So these include parades. And obviously China's got a lot of big tourist attractions as well, like the Forbidden City in Beijing, Great Wall. You've got all of these big sites where people might normally gather. And they've said that they're going to close for the holidays. So really there is a nationwide crackdown on big events where a lot of people would probably gather to celebrate the new year. And people are being encouraged to stay at home and stay safe.
And according to the official Changjiang Daily, they're going to build a 1,000-bed hospital in Wuhan with the aim of having it ready by this Monday. I mean, even by China's standards, that's some going, isn't it?
It is, yes. But I mean, I've seen in the past skyscrapers get built within days. China's very good at building something very quickly if it wants to. And it has been introducing a lot of extra measures very, very quickly off the back of this. So at midnight in China this morning, there was the announcement that the Ministry of Finance was releasing 1 billion yuan. That's about 144 million US dollars in extra money to deal with this virus nationwide. So a lot of money going into this. And there were already 2,000 dedicated beds spread across 6 different hospitals that were literally being used to deal with the virus within the province of Hubei.
So obviously the health efforts are really stepped up. They're making huge concerted efforts to deal with the issue. And yet I've read that certainly compared to international coverage, there hasn't been much about all of this on Chinese state media. Is that the case?
Well, if you watch TV, not at all, because with it being Spring Festival, there's a real emphasis on, well, also because people are stuck at home, there's a real emphasis on trying to stay positive, thinking of the new year. A lot of stuff normally this time of year is pre-recorded so people can watch. I mean, if you think of Christmas, you watch a lot of comedy films, a lot of happy feel-good films. So there's a lot of that on television. That being said, on social media, when I've been reading in the mornings and looking at the latest news on various different platforms, there's only one story at the moment, and it literally is the developments of this virus. Because what happened early in the week was Xi Jinping, the president, said that he wanted the nation to crack down on this, and there were also and to do the best they could to really step up efforts to make sure that this virus was controlled. There was also a very senior official who said that who sent out a warning to media and said, don't delay your reports on this, because the expression was something along the lines of you'll be nailed to a pillar of historical shame. So that's why suddenly a lot of media were giving a lot of transparency all of a sudden and saying, look, we're going into Wuhan hospitals, we're showing footage at areas where cars are passing through. We're showing that the medical professionals are doing the absolute most they can. And yeah, if there's suspected cases, that they're literally coming up in a live feed. So yeah, people are just reading about this constantly. And there is a sense of panic. But at the same time, the government's also putting out a lot of posters telling people stay positive.
Our colleague from BBC Monitoring, Kerry Allen.